today so that those who are unable to join us today will be able to play back this recording. The email will come out either late today or it'll come out on Monday. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone here so that we can get started. All right, well, thank you everyone. Welcome back. We're glad to have you back. Today we're covering Facebook events. We're going to show you how to set up a Facebook event. We're going to show you how to share it out once you've set it up. And there's a few options that'll be available to you. So let's jump right on into it. All right, let's pull up my screen here. So y'all should be able to see my screen. Let me know if you can't. Just check the chat, make sure we can see it.
I can see it.
Excellent. Good to hear. Okay, so here we are. We're on Facebook. Since we have covered going over your Facebook business pages in our previous lectures, we're going to go ahead and show you how to make an event from a Facebook business page. So we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to find our business page. Got an echo there. Going to mute out all the agents. We'll have you stay on.
Sorry, Will, I accidentally muted you.
Okay, then. Got that all fixed. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead. We are going to get to the page we want to edit. Because I am a staff member, I have a lot of pages available to me. You're going to, typically speaking, only have the one. So you'll find your page. It'll look something like we'll go into our page. And we're going to start by setting up an event. So when you have the ability to hit this little create section right here, you have options like going live, offer, event. So you can go ahead and click that button there. And what's going to happen is it's going to bring up a little dialog for you. And it's going to allow us to fill in a bunch of information regarding our event. So the first one is any sort of event photo or video. This is a great opportunity if you're hosting something like a virtual open house and you want to have an event for it. You're going to be able to upload, say, a photo of your property. If you are hosting any sort of class, any sort of Q&A, whatever photo you feel is most appropriate. In the case of this example, we're going to actually show our event for our next week's class, Bite-Sized Links, a Guide to Bitly. So I'm going to go ahead and click that little Choose Photo button right up here in the corner. And it's going to allow me to pick from existing photos I have uploaded, or it should allow me to go ahead and upload. It's a little odd. So there it is. That button was not showing up for me the first time. So sometimes this happens with Facebook. If a button doesn't show up, just give it a click, give it a second try. Sometimes that'll fix your problem for you. So we'll find that upload photo/video button, and that'll take us to a little uploader. Opens a little dialog. And we're going to find the various image that we're looking for. In this case, I have our Bitly event photo cover right here. I'm going to go ahead and have that upload. It's going to give you a little progress bar as it continues to upload, and it'll allow you to drag and reposition as needed. So go ahead, we'll leave it something like that. And it'll allow us to make a name. Note that this name has a maximum of 64 characters. So you'll want to be sure that you stay below that, otherwise your name will not be able to be submitted. So in this case, we're going to call it Bite-Sized Links, a Guide to Bitly and Open Houses. So we're going to just kind of continue through this form here. And the event type, we actually have an option to select an online event. So if your event is in person, which is something a lot of people are doing right now because of shelter in place, you're able to put in your physical location. But if it's an online event, we can check this box. And instead, it'll allow us to provide a link to our event for when it starts. Or you can include written instructions if you don't want to provide a link. Since we have a link for our next week's class already, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grab that link and I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. All right, and that's our link. So we'll leave the location blank since we are in a virtual event, and we can go ahead and add a description. So we'll just say, you can write whatever you want in this description, and you want to make sure that you provide enough information. So if it's going to be a virtual open house, maybe you want to include that property information. I'd include your name, contact info, your license number, just as much information as you feel is necessary. The next step we're going to go through is we're going to find the category. And again, remember that whenever you're filling these out, a lot of these little things have a little I that's right next to the text. If you hover over it, it'll give you a little bit more of an explanation. Those little tooltips are really helpful. I recommend you mouse over them if you feel a little confused or a little lost.
Hey, Will, would you mind zooming in a little bit?
Yeah, let's see if I can pull that in. Okay, how's that? So as I said, we got our image.
That's better.
We got our title. It's an online event. We chose a link. We put our link in. We're going to leave that location blank. We don't need it for an online event. We'll put in our description. We'll pick a category. And in this case, we're going to just kind of scroll through and figure out what category sort of best fits our event. In this case, if you were doing something like a virtual open house, maybe home would be a really good choice. For us, we might consider doing something like networking for the fact that we're doing this class. So again, it's kind of whatever category best fits your event. And this can work for a variety of different options. Then we're going to have the ability to put in our date and time, as well as the time zone, if that's something you're interested in doing. So you can go ahead and click this little date picker. And this class is going to be Friday, May 15. And that is going to be at 2 p.m. Make sure not to pick the AM one. So 2 p.m. And we need to put our end time in. So we'll go ahead and you'll notice how it's automatically changed the date to match the starting date. And we'll make that end time go to 2:30 p.m. Moving right along down the list, we're going to show you that we got the ability to add some co-hosts. So for example, if I needed to add another co-host, I can add Lisa-Ann Kwok, who's going to be the other teacher, and add her to this list. That's going to send an invite, and she'll need to accept that before she becomes a full co-host of the event. So if you have a co-host you're working with, make sure they go and accept that so that they can, participate, add information to the event, and they'll be listed as a co-host. As we continue to scroll down, we have a few more options. We can add a schedule if you want to have an itinerary. So if you were doing something like a virtual open house, you could say, from 1 to 2 p.m., we're going to be walking through the property. 2 to 3 p.m., we're going to be taking questions. And you'll be able to fill that out just by hitting that add a schedule button. And you can add a description for each item, and you can actually set the time in which it occurs. So our first thing will start at 2. Maybe I want to do 2:15. We'll switch over to our next concept, our next idea. We can add that end time up here. So our 2 to 2:15. There we go. So 2 to 2:15 will be our first item. Maybe we'll talk about Bitly. And then our second part of the meeting, we're going to show how to use that link in a virtual open house template. And maybe we'll say that goes until 2:30 p.m. A nice little way you can add a little bit more structure, provide a little more information. And as we continue going through on the details, we can actually fill out our keywords if we want to have. And again, you're going to type and select keywords from the list of results. So maybe I wanted to go realist. So if I wanted to type in open house, So some of these things are going to pop up pre-made, some won't, but these are nice little keywords that'll help more people search for your event in the list of all of the events that are on Facebook. You'll be able to select if this event is kid-friendly, and if this event constitutes a volunteer opportunity. Select those or don't select them, depends on what you're looking for. And as we move to the bottom, we're actually going to be able to select admission. So Facebook offers a ton of different options for events. We're probably not going to need to have things like creating tickets or ticket links for events like a virtual open house, but that is an option. So we'll go ahead and ignore those for the moment. We can add any sort of confirmation and reserve spots if you are interested in having a virtual open house and maybe say you want to limit it to maximum, I don't know, 20 people. Then we can go ahead and hit that plus sign, and it'll open up a confirmation. We can choose a number of people that'll be able to go, and we can choose how many maximum slots one person can sign up for at once. This also allows us to add a few custom questions. And again, if we mouse over the little I, we can get a bit of information. And they suggest you can ask up to 3 questions that you want your guests to answer. Ask for things that'll help you plan a great event, like past experience, dietary preferences, skill level. If I were hosting a virtual open house, I'd consider adding something like, where did you learn about this listing? Do you already have a real estate agent? Stuff like that is a great opportunity for you to ask some of those questions, gather a little bit of data. All you got to do, hit ask question and type in your question there. And you can do that up to 3 times. If you don't like your question, go ahead, hit that little trash can icon, it'll delete them. And then from there, you can also choose whether or not guests can open a Messenger thread. And Messenger is the chat application that is paired with Facebook. So you can choose whether or not you want to allow guests to be able to contact you about their reservation through that chat. So maybe I don't want that. I can go ahead and uncheck that box, and then they won't be able to message me using Messenger.
William, can I ask a quick question before we go further?
Go for it, Francis.
The link that you referred to at the beginning of this long screen of options, is the link you just copied and paste? Okay, is it created automatically because you copied and paste something that you had?
Yes, so that is a great question, Francis. So that's going to depend greatly on the type of event that you're running. If you choose to host something like a virtual open house using Zoom, then you'd want to use your Zoom meeting link. In this case, this is a Teams meeting link. When I created next week's class already in Microsoft Teams. I grabbed that Teams link and I just had it waiting here in a little notepad for me, just so that I didn't have to go hunting for it during the class. But that link can be whatever you want.
I understand. Thank you.
It's a great question. All right, let's scroll back down. So we can set a limited number of spots if that's something you're interested in. And then now it's important to note here that when you set a limited number of spots, that will gray out certain options in the final section here. So, and it will tell you this when you're trying to select things. So you have the ability to choose who can post in your event. If you want to say only admins can post, that is to say, if you're a real estate agent and you're working alone, then only you will be able to post to this event. No one else will be able to add their own posts in your event. However, if you want people to be able to post, add their own information to your event, you can go ahead with anyone can post. And if you select anyone can post, you can go ahead and mark this little box that says post approval, which means that when they try to post, it'll submit that to you and you have to manually log in and approve that post before it shows up to other viewers. It's a great way to moderate your posts, make sure that nothing goes in that you don't want to have seen. So again, that's an option that's available to you. So this question right here, messaging, you can actually see this box is a bit grayed out compared to the other ones. And when I hover over it, it'll tell me that I've got a little bit of a warning here. Messaging must be enabled for guests to confirm attendance. So when I need to go up here, and all of a sudden that box is actually checked because I checked it up here. And that's only if you are using the confirmation feature. If I go ahead and say maybe I don't want to limit the number of spots I have available, I can hit X. That'll cancel all the information I put in there. And now when I'm down here, I can actually check or uncheck this box as I choose. Similarly, the guest list is a list of all people who have signed up. By default, that's going to show everyone. So if Lisanne were to say, join my event, then anyone who joins that event as well will be able to see that Lisanne is going to be joining this event, or is indicated that she will be. And you can make that hidden if you choose. And depending on what options you have selected up here, that option may not be available to you. So it's just important to make sure you got this dialed in exactly the way you want. And again, if you are confused by what a question does, just mouse over that little I. It'll give you a little bit more explanation as to what's going on. Lastly, you have the ability to both save it as a draft if you're not finished editing your event, or you can go ahead and publish. And before you click publish, though, you can also, maybe I am scheduling this event and I'm going to hold an open house in 2 weeks, but I don't want people to start knowing about it for a week. We can hit this little down arrow and we can actually click schedule, which will allow us to, the event will start being shared. This is different from saying when your event will happen. We already said that at the top. So maybe we know that our event is taking place on the 15th. And I don't want to announce it today on the 8th. Maybe I say, people are already off to their weekend, and I want to make sure that people pay attention to this in the days leading up to my event. Maybe I'll say I want this to post on Tuesday, the 12th. And I'll say it posts at 3 p.m. It's a really good time in the early mid-afternoon. It's when a lot of people are on their social media. So it's a great time to reach the widest number of people possible. And this will give me 3 days for people to start joining the event. They'll be able to sort of drum up hype, share it with their friends, whatever you need to sort of fit your strategy. And that's an option if you want to schedule it. Now, say we don't want to schedule it, we just want it to go now. We can just go ahead, click publish, and it is going to give you a little loading screen as it works on your request. And we're going to go ahead and zoom back out here. And here we are. We have an event. We can now see the event in our page. And it is officially scheduled. Lisanne, ready to take over?
I'm ready.
Sending it to you.
Okay, guys. Can you see my screen?
We see ya.
Okay. All right. So this is my Facebook. I am going to navigate to the page in which this event is hosted in. So I can see Lisanne and William Presents has made me a co-host. I'm going to accept this co-host position. But let's go back out and see how we can navigate into the event itself. So this is my home page. I know where it is hosted, which is in my page, Lisanne plus William Presents. So I'm going to go to Pages, find my page, this one. On the sidebar on the left here, you can see events. So go ahead and click that. And this is the event I want to edit and play around with. So I'm going to click that. All right, so we're going to go over how to essentially market your event. So how do you share? How do you invite? How to maximize exposure? So go ahead, this is the little share button, and you can invite your friends to your event. So I don't have a lot of friends on Facebook because this is my work account. So I have 23 friends. I'm going to go ahead and invite all of them and send these invitations. There's also the option to send invitations to people who have attended previous events. So for example, back in, I believe, November of last year, we had a Homes for Dogs event and we had a lot of people attend that. So if that's the same demographic that I am targeting in my event, I can choose that event to invite those attendees. I can also invite people in that are friends with me in GenBlue. So GenBlue is a Facebook group. And if you're not in this group, let me know. I will add you to it. It's basically a networking group, and a lot of agents and admins are on there. But for now, I'm just going to invite all my friends. Send invite. And there, since William is one of my friends, he's going to get a notification here that I have invited him to my event. Okay, when it comes to sharing, if you want to share it as a post on your newsfeed so that it pops up on your friends' newsfeeds, you can share as a post, share on your timeline, say Q caption, join William and I on a class on how to leverage Bitly in your open house or in your virtual open house announcements. Take a look at my post. I'm happy with it and I'm going to post. And another option, so GenBlue, there are a lot of people on GenBlue that I'm not friends with or I do not know because it is a very, very vast network. And I would like my post to be exposed to those people. Maybe someone from the East Coast would be interested in something like this. So I am going to share as a post again. Something happened there. There we go. And this time I'm going to share it in a group. I'm going to search for my group name. It's GenBlue. And I'm going to caption it again. And go ahead and post that again. And another option, which is very applicable to you guys, is to share it as a post on your business pages. So your business pages might have a different audience than your personal page. And also because this is business related, you'd want to post it on your business page. So go ahead and share on a page you manage. So let's say I want to share it as on my Los Altos page because that is the office that we are originally from. And it's the same basic concept. You press share. You pick which page or group or timeline you want to share in. Write a caption and press post. So I'm not ready to share as Los Altos yet. I'm going to cancel. And if I want to associate people with my post, I would tag them. So let's go to GenBlue, which is where I posted my post. And I only tagged William. I forgot to tag other people like Greg and Kelly that I want them to be associated with the post. So I would edit this post. So right now we are in GenBlue. Press the 3 ellipses, edit post, tag friends. Add a couple of people that you would like associated with this post. and hit save. Okay. And as you can see, the event link is here, but because it's hosted in Facebook, oh, look at that. William just accepted my invitation to this class. So you're going to receive a notification. But because this event is hosted within Facebook and it links out to another event on Teams, you don't necessarily want to share the Facebook link to this event. In an instance like this, I would recommend that you actually share the direct link to the event. So if you're hosting your event in Zoom, I would share out the Zoom link, and basically wherever you're trying to, you want to share the link directly to people instead of going through Facebook, because if they don't have a Facebook account, they'd have to make one to access this page, or they'd have to sign into their Facebook account. So this is handy for your Facebook network and any groups that you're in. And that's it from me.
All right, it looks like we got a quick question here, and I do want to share my screen again so I can help answer that. This is a question coming from Francis, asking if you create the event from your Facebook page, isn't it posted there already once it is created? So we went ahead and created this event as part of a business page instead of my personal account. You can see my personal account up here in the middle. And you can see that Lisanne tagged me in her post to her personal account, not her business page, her personal account. She shared the event that was from our business page. So if we go ahead and go back to our business page, anyone who visits your business page is going to see the event, because you'll see there'll be an upcoming events option, including you can see there's the one that's today at 2 p.m. that we're in the middle of, as well as the one scheduled for May 15th that's right there. And you'll see it as the first post on their business page this is automatically created, when you create the event, it automatically makes a post about it on your business page. Sharing that to your personal page is what Lisanne showed you, where we're going to go ahead and share to either you can share to a page that you manage, you can go ahead, you can share it to a group, an event, or you can share it to your personal account, if that helps answer your question.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, I'm glad you found that helpful.
William, this
yes.
is Clara Lee. May I ask a question?
Go for it. I was just going to say we can start to open up the mics and answer a couple questions.
So this question may be too big for this setting, but just in case, I'm going to ask. So I'm thinking about doing open house kind of by reservation so that I don't have an unlimited number of people coming at me at once. So I'd like to have, for example, let's say I have a 3-hour window and I want to give 15-minute slots. Is there a way that you know how you set it up for people to confirm if they want to come? Is there a way to do it where they could pick a time and then tell me they want to come?
You know, I do not know if Facebook offers a service like that. I haven't come across anything that they do that's like that. There are potentially third-party services or scheduling assistant services you could use. I don't have anyone that I know of them offhand. That'd be something you'd want to do a little bit of research and explore on. Lisanne?
Yeah, so from my experience, that's not something you can do. Facebook basically just lets you do like a very big overview of an event. It doesn't really help you manage the intricacies of an event. So if you want to perhaps link a scheduler, they're third-party websites that do this for you. You can basically create an event and you can have like 15-minute slots for people to sign up for. It's you can off the top of my head, Scheduality does that, but you can certainly consult Google for more options. But if that's the case, I would recommend that you link whichever scheduling software that you pick into your Facebook event, and then once they sign up, you can send them the meeting information, if that makes sense.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Of course.
We have another question in the chat asking, do the attendees know how many attendees there are? That's a great question. So the first thing to point out is that not every attendee, if you're if you're sharing this event in multiple platforms, only people who say they are going to attend your event on Facebook will show up on the attendee list. And whether or not you want people to be able to see that list is one of those settings that we are able to control when we originally created the event. If I scroll into here, we can actually go ahead and down here, we can make the guest list either displayed or not displayed. So you can hide that guest list, which is all of the attendees, or you can have it shown. That's a choice that you can make. We have time for one or two more questions here. Does anyone have any other questions we can help you answer?
If I may, I'd like to ask a question.
Go for it, Francis.
So if you want to do a trial run, can you invite just 2 people?
You're more than welcome to do a trial run. So when you go ahead and publish, it's going to be live on your business page, something like this. However, what we can do is we should be able to just make a quick brief event. I'd call it something like test, schedule it for something like a Tuesday. Find a couple close family members, friends, other realtors. Go for it. Just kind of embrace the fact that it is a learning experience and see if that works for you. And then go ahead when you're ready to be done with it. You can go ahead, find that event added either down here and hit those 3 ellipses to go ahead and delete from your page. Or when you're up here at the top, you can actually go see the events on our page using that little events button on the upper right or upper left. And we can go ahead and hit that more button. We should be able to edit and then go ahead and delete that event, depending on what options you choose. So that's definitely what I'd recommend is just go ahead and delete the event if you want to delete that. If you are interested in unpublishing an event, there is an option to do that. Let me see if I can locate it again. Apologies, it's a little tricky for me to work with it on the bigger when it's all zoomed in. So when we're in the specific event, we should be able to go ahead and hit. So when I'm looking at specifically the event we have scheduled, bite-sized links, a guide to Bitly and open houses, we can go ahead, hit those 3 ellipses in the upper right, and there is an ability to go ahead and either cancel the event. So you can either cancel the event, your guests will get notified and you'll be able to access the event page, but won't be able to edit the event, or you can go ahead and delete it completely. So those are the 2 options that Facebook offers. So there's not necessarily a unpublish and hide it without notifying your attendees. Either you can notify them to hide it and cancel the event, or you can go ahead and delete it. Those are sort of your 2 choices. But I'd recommend that if you're not quite ready to publish when you create the event for the first time, there is that option to go ahead and save it as a draft. And I would use that feature until you're ready to go.
And someone who is going to attend, how do they go into the event?
So that's a great question. When I am on my own homepage here, I'm gonna be able to see that Lisanne shared this. And again, in this your page will show this. Anyone who's following your page will get a notification in their feed that you scheduled an event. Lisanne shared this. She tagged me, which means I can also see it in my notifications up here. And
also
what I
on
do,
the left hand side, so under Explore Events, you should also be able to access like a calendar of events there.
And when I found this event, what I did is that there's an option here that allows you to see either going, interested, or not going. So I went ahead and said that I'm going to this event, and I selected that option, and that added me to the guest list for the event. And that is what puts me on the attendee list. That's how you say I'm going. And if I said, I'm not sure if I can go, but I kind of want to, interested is what people will select. And again, your clients can change that at any time about whether or not they're interested, if they're going, or maybe they cancel.
So we have a question. Gwen is asking, is there a switch that is called unpublish?
Yeah, so I showed that just a little bit, and there's the option to either sort of cancel or delete your event. Deleting your event's going to completely wipe it. You won't be able to access anything you've made on it, and you'll completely lose the guest list. If you cancel your event, the guests will be notified. You'll still be able to access the event page, but it'll cease to be editable. And then the sort of alternative to that would be to, when you create the event the first time, to just go ahead, save it as a draft. But once it's sort of a live event, it's a live event once people start signing up.
Sorry, just a basic question. Why did you post it the first time on Timeline? What is the difference between that and like a business page?
Right, I have there's sort of two things that are going on here. On the one hand, I have my business page, right? And you want to sort of conduct business on your business page. A business page is sort of its own entity that you control. In the same way that you sort of drive a car, the page is your car. In this instance, I also have my own personal account with my own personal friends list. Unlike a page, which just has people who follow me, I am friends with people on my personal page. So what I want to do is make sure that instead of I can make an event on my personal page. I'm allowed to do that. Facebook allows you to do that. However, what we showed you how to do is how to make that event on your business page so that anyone following your business page can do that. What the advantage of then sharing it to your personal page is that all of your friends who maybe don't follow your business page, but are friends with you on Facebook, will now see that you've shared this post. So you're conducting the business part of it on your business page. And now when you share to your personal timeline, what you're saying is, hey, check out all this awesome open house I'm doing. It'll be a great time. Then the sharing to your timeline is just a way for you to sort of generate additional exposure for those people who are friends with you on Facebook, but maybe don't follow your business page.
Great explanation. Thank you.
Happy to help. All right. We are running a little long. Do not want to take up any more of anyone's time. If you have more questions, please reach out to both Lisa and myself. We're happy to help you answer some questions, overcome any sort of hiccups or hurdles as they come up.
Thank you so much for attending. It's always a pleasure.
We'll see you all next week, Friday, 2 p.m. We're going to be going over Bitly. We're going to be going over using those shortened links. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.